Ai, ka kite marama.
Ka kite poa.
Oh, ka muki muki au ki a koe.
I miss you too.
Gorgeous. Just chatting with my 3-year-old granddaughter. She tells me that she has to put all of her kisses and cuddles for me into an envelope and post them to me because I'm definitely not allowed in her bubble. So at 3, she can make sense of what's going on right now, but is having a little bit of trouble understanding that it's not going to carry on forever. So we're just using gentle repetition. We're adding to her story of what's going on now by gently reminding her each time, but soon in the future, you will be able to come to your Pa's or granddad's house and give him kisses and cuddles, and he'll be able to come to your house. She doesn't get it immediately, but with the gentle repetition over and over, that will help her to make sense of what's going on. Might be a good time now to have a quick look at what repetition does inside the brain to help us understand that better. Repetition is quite simply the brain's way of learning. It's through having an experience over and over again that communicates to the brain, we need to store this information and remember it for the future. And that's essentially what learning is, that it's only accessed through repetition. If you follow your child's play, play often shows us exactly what developmental need the child has if we leave them in charge of the play. If you follow the play of a 3 or 4-year-old, you'll find it's loaded with repetition. Very few 3-year-olds go to bed at night and ask for a brand new story with new characters, new surprise plots. 3 and 4-year-olds tend to ask for the same 3 stories in exactly the same order, and they'll know if you miss a word, let alone a page, because their little brains are very, very focused on repetition because they know what's good for them. Repetition consolidates learning in the brain. I'm also lucky enough to have a gorgeous 5-year-old grandson. I was talking to him on Skype last night. Now, he's 2 years older than my granddaughter, so he's got a wee bit more advanced understanding of time. He can understand the future. He understands he's going to see me again. That's not an issue. But he doesn't understand the future in the same way that we do. He doesn't really understand weeks. He understands the basic concept, but saying to him, I will see you in 12 weeks, means very little. We have to make it meaningful to the child. So his favourite thing in the world right now is his vegetable garden. He's a very, very proud farmer. In fact, I'm getting daily pictures of the carrots that he's growing for me and the progress that they're making. So a garden and growing carrots is very meaningful to him. If I say, Pa will see you in 12 weeks, it means nothing. When I've been able to say to him, before those carrots grow up to fully grown carrots, Pa will be able to come to your house before then and eat the carrots with you. So it's connecting to something that makes meaning to him and helps him to predict the future. So now, as we move to thinking about routines, which we're all doing under this new normal, new routines, children may need that extra help because repetition is so crucial to their learning, we may need to do it with them multiple times. But if we link it to things that are meaningful to the child, that will help and make it a whole lot faster. In fact, for young children, it's probably easier to think about a rhythm rather than a routine. It's not about clocks and doing things at a certain time, but about allowing the child to predict what's going to happen. Say at your house you might have tea together as a family, and then there's a bath time after tea, and then there's a bedtime story. It's the predictability of knowing the order those things will happen in that give the children the calm and the predictability that we need to establish a new routine. For those of you interested in the why is routine and predictability so important to your brain and your child's brain? It's really to do with the scales that we talked about yesterday. Remember, we divided your child's brain into 2, basically. On one side, the survival brain, and on the other side of the scales, the learning brain. If we want to engage this learning brain, we have to keep the survival brain nice and calm. And that's what routines and rhythms do for us. They give us a sense of predictability. Next to your relationship with the child and your connection with the child, the next biggest factor in the literature for how to calm brainstems is predictability. So routines are huge. Routines are really important for keeping our kids nice and calm. Okay, let's have a look at some of the feedback that's coming in from you. A huge mihi to all of you that are offering your encouragement. That's hugely helpful. It is a tua kanataina situation. We're all in this together. We're in lockdown, trying to do the best we can to help you out, and your encouragement is really helping, so thank you very much. I've managed to rope my 21-year-old daughter in today, not quite to be on camera, but to give us a summary of what some of those questions and themes are that are coming in through Facebook. So Eva, what's sort of the major theme that's standing out for you in the feedback?
I'd say the biggest question is where you get your decor from.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. A lot of that is just really, I think a lot of early childhood teachers have unique environments. It's really just because I decorate my house for my grandchildren. I know, working in neuroscience, I know how crucial imagination is to overall intelligence. I know that if I want to make my grandchildren or aid them and empower them to be as intelligent as possible, it's not about doing an early reading program, it's about stimulating their imagination and their free play as much as possible. I want my kids, when they come to Granddad or Papa's house, to think that maybe when they go through the back of the wardrobe, maybe they do get to Narnia. We just want to encourage imagination. So that's why a lot of it is unique and different. Travelled around the world and got different pieces. There was one astute viewer, Veronica from Wellington, who noticed that the statue behind me has a little bit of significance. So just quickly, we're just going to check that out. Yeah, well spotted you. Good eagle eye. This is the original puppet of Susie Cato's You and Me. So we used to have a puppeteer behind that could wave the hand and open the mouth and told us lots of stories.
Haere mai, kia ora e hoa.
So yeah, rich part of New Zealand's cultural heritage. Love to get Susie here reading a story in front of that one day. Another thing to aspire to post-lockdown. Okay, so that's a day core. Any questions relating to actual content?
A few people have said they quite like the brain stuff, but it's a little bit complex. And they're wondering if there's any way they could watch it again.
Oh, good question. And yes, there is. We've tried to cater to everybody here, the people that want the simple messages and those that want more complexity. For those of you who are just looking for the simple messages, then really all we've discussed so far is the need to keep our children connected, to stay talking to our kids, that staying calm is going to help them stay focused and get the best outcomes, and giving them some sort of basic routine. That's all we've said so far. For those that want the complexity of it though, we are putting all of these episodes onto YouTube. So if you just go to Nathan Wallace on YouTube and subscribe to my channel, then every one of these episodes, after it's been played on TV, will get loaded onto that website and will be available there. They'll also be available on the Ministry of Education website. So there's lots of good resources going up on my website, nathanwallace.com, but also on the Ministry of Education website. So check out those resources. And time for one more?
One lady said that her son wants to set up a school and he wants a desk and a bell at 9 a.m. and was wondering if she should do that or not.
Okay, so her son's initiating that he wants a routine, very clearly. He wants to copy school. He wants the bell going at 9 o'clock and he wants a desk. Now, during lockdown, I wouldn't actually recommend that you initiate that for the child. But the key thing that's happening here is that that child has asked for that. So that's a child telling us that they like routine, they need routine to stay safe. So yes, I would do that. If the child had asked me to set up a desk and to sort of follow school routine, that maybe is what he needs to stay safe and secure. So because he initiated it, then yeah, I probably would do that. But for the other parents where the children haven't initiated it, I think it's more important to focus on their well-being and sense of calmness and a routine that works for your home rather than necessarily just copying school. There you go. Okay, thanks for that feedback. Keep it rolling in. It is really appreciated. It's time to go, so we'll see you tomorrow, same time. Kia ora whanau.